Hey, MacDowin here. Today we are reviewing the 7-inch Fortnite Kit Legendary Series Brawler action figure. I have been super excited about this one. I snagged this on Amazon for $24.99, and you might want to take a look there because that's cheaper than the retail price of $29.99. And look, it even says it transforms. It has the new Brawler style packaging, which is the dark grid pattern instead of the white, and it's a larger box. Now we'll take a look at the back side of the box. Up near the top is the quote, "Kit, proudly following in his father's paw prints." Down near the bottom is the cross sale, and I am still looking for that Agent Peely. And they show some of the action weapon features in the middle section. For those who want to see the barcode, here it is. Let's get this kitty out of the box. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and please subscribe so you'll be notified of future videos. If you want to help the channel out and you play Fortnite, please feel free to add my creator code to your Epic account. It's MacDowin. Kit is an epic skin and part of the Mecha Kitty set. Released in Chapter 2, Season 3, he was available in the Battle Pass at Tier 60. Let's take a look at the accessories and then the figure. He comes with the Power Claw's dual harvesting tool, and these do look pretty neat. They've got the green blade and the little brown box and silver plate. They're a little bit heavy. It's difficult for me to hold both of them in one fingers without them, as you see, fading down. His first action weapon is a double-barrel shotgun. It's gold and gray, and its action feature is that it does that. I thought it did a little bit more, so that might be a little disappointing to some at this higher price point, but that's the action feature. His second action weapon is a Grappler, and this you can see inside of this translucent clearish cylinder. It has a spring in it. To activate the Grappler, actually I'll flip it around, you'll see this little bit of yarn, string, whatever you want to call that, right here where you would pull the trigger. Well, it pulls the trigger and it shoots out. It's not very powerful. This is not going to do a whole lot. It's actually pretty short. The positive side is you might be able to cut this off, add a longer string to it, and then have a further range of well, if it shoots, have a farther range of motion. This is a hard plastic. Let me get this back in here. This is a hard plastic. It's not going to suction onto anything, so you're not going to be able to like attach this unless you glue it onto a surface. You're not going to be able to have him or another figure hang off this thing as if it's stuck to a wall. He doesn't come with this weapon, but Kit's Shockwave Launcher is a pack-in with 8-ball, so you want to get that figure if you want to get this weapon. And this is pretty cool. I'm actually not really sure why they included this with 8-ball, but if you want this weapon, well, that's where you get it. As we take a look at the figure, I am going to warn you right off the bat, this figure is probably going to fall over many, many times. And you'll probably understand at the end of this discussion why that is. He has 40 points of articulation, is what the box says. And yeah, he's got a lot of movement and motion. I'm going to start from the toes and go to the top. That's different than I usually do. But these legs are interesting. They're interesting. He's got a toe hinge right there that kind of works. There is an ankle hinge, and it also rotates. There is a calf rotation. I guess that's a calf area. There is a double hinge at just below this knee. So there's a hinge right there and a hinge right there, and then the knee rotates as well. It's got this motion at the waist, and it does not, I guess this would be the thigh rotation right above the knee. But there's no rotation up here any higher. The waist rotates. There's no movement here at the, that might happen a few times too. There's no motion or movement up here where the torso is. The hands rotate and have a hinge. And the fingers have a hinge. Bear with me as I'm trying to maneuver this thing. He has double pin at the elbow, and there is a bicep rotation. there's a shoulder hinge, and then instead of a round motion on the shoulder, it just moves back and forth like that. And that's where you get all the articulation from. He does have a place back here. Let me get one for a back bling, so I'll just use this one right here. You can actually attach a back bling there, which is going to make it pretty deep. So that's kind of funny. So yeah, that's Kit's articulation. He really does look like a really cool figure. So let's get into a few things I'm noticing right off the bat. And that is shoulder movement. These move pretty easy, so trying to get him lined up straight can be difficult when his arms are like in a way that makes it look like he should be straight. Trying to get him lined up is a little bit of a piece of work. Getting him to stand is another piece of work. This lower hinge, where the knee should be, or is, whatever, is loose. Both of them are. And it tends to like to go forward, and I don't know if that's the way it's trying to get you to pose it like this, how a cat would stand. Trying to pose it like this really does not work at all. He likes to constantly fall over because that hinge, well, does that. If I try to do this, I'm guessing that might be like how a cat stands, and that's fine. I don't mind doing that to make him stand. He doesn't have to stand straight up. There's a balancing thing. When his legs are back here and his weight's up here, that's a balancing thing. So then you got to kind of lean him back a little bit. And he's got no real torso to help hold him up. So it gets kind of interesting to try to stand this figure up. He kind of has this strange little bend overness to him. And it's really difficult to actually get. It's actually kind of difficult to get everything to line up just right. If you want to put this figure in a pose, like an action pose, good luck. Because even the ankle hinges are he's heavy enough up here that the ankle hinges are loose and he'll fall forward. This is a figure you're probably going to need a figure stand for, and I've heard that the McFarlane, I think it was McFarlane figure stands, I'll have to pull one down, it fits these figures. But I finally got him standing. You saw how much work that took. I usually don't like wasting your time more than I have to, but I thought that was important to see the struggle there. And so it's a very fine balancing act to get this figure to stand. Maybe mine's looser than yours. If you have this figure, let me know how tight these hinges are. Maybe mine's just looser than yours. And if that's the case, then good. I'd rather mine be looser than all of them be loose. But as someone who does videos, this is my thoughts and opinions on the figure that I have gotten. And if I get one, then somebody else is going to get it. Or get something similar. Kit does come off. He's got two little pegs on his feet, and there's two little holes on his feet and two pegs right there. And that's how you can attach him. This figure transforms. At least it says so on the box. And I will admit, I'm a little disappointed in its transformation. I will just say that right off the bat. It's a very tight transformation. So the first thing you do is you'll take Kit off. Second thing you'll do is it separates right here at the tire where the waist is. So you pull that thing off. Then you got this portion right here. Then you see this peg back here. Well, when you flip this around, there is a hole back here near these exhaust pipes. And that will plug in there. Except it's not going, and we'll raise the legs up first. Except for it won't just go right in. Let's see if I can show that to you. This is about, can you see that? I hope you can see that. it's a little bit above it. So you're going to have to pull this back and push that back. And maybe that's part of the design, but you're going to have to shove that thing back to get that hook in. I hope that's what's meant, because you do that too many times, this piece may stress break at some point. Then you pull his legs down there, kind of like out the front, like that. And then you kind of got this kind of a weird monstrosity here, truthfully. You got legs flailing around. You got arms over here. You got this stuff. Then the final piece of the transformation is Kit. But the problem is, he's got too big of a back end, and he doesn't quite fit. So you have to, again, push things back to get him hooked in there. And again, this is being pushed back further. So I hope that's what's meant to have happened. I hope they want you to push this stuff back. I'm going to have to rotate the biceps out a little bit. But you can get him kind of transformed there like this. I don't know. Oh, and the other thing is, the wheel does not move. A huge, huge missed opportunity figuring out how to put something in there to allow this wheel to move, because that's one of the things I was looking forward to the most, getting him in this transformed single wheeled bike mode so that you could do this. If you do this, you may end up, you're going to scrape up the bottom of this wheel and it's going to leave marks all over, but he is really truly there just to be posed. You just set him down and that's how you have him. He's not going to move. There's no playability there. Not with this, not really. So the anticipation that this was going to be one of my top rated legendary figures, he'll still be probably in my top 10, but he may be number 10 or number 9. He's not going to be near the top. The anticipation of this figure has been probably, next to Ragnarok, one of the greatest figures I've been anticipating. And so, yeah, there's some disappointment here. And I hope you have a different experience with this figure if you get it. I hope, as someone who does video stuff of action figures, I always hope that people have a better experience than me. Because, yeah, I just do. You know, I'd rather I have problems and you get the figures and you don't have the problems. So anyway, I won't talk much more about that. That is Kit and his transformation. So it was not easy to get the figure into this pose, but I wanted to do something than just standard standing up. I'm surprised he hasn't actually fallen down yet. But I've got him here. Oh, there he went. But we have him here holding his harvesting tools, and the finger hinge grips down pretty good, so he looks really pretty good. He holds those harvesting tools really well. We better get him switched around before he falls over again. Here he is holding his two action weapons. One unfortunate thing is that the head area doesn't move, so you can't turn his head to make him look towards where he's pointing. He's got to kind of point, or you move the entire torso around to do that. You can see how kind of precarious he's standing there, but anyway. And I thought I'd show you what he looks like holding a weapon with two hands, and apparently his right hand fell off of the handle of this one. But again, because he can't rotate that head area to look where he's aiming, it's kind of a clunky thing to try to pose him in an interesting way. So, well, there's that. It's time now for height comparison. Here is Kit next to a G.I. Joe classified figure and a Marvel Legends action figure. Next to a standard size Fortnite action figure from Jazwares and a Star Wars Black Series action figure. And next to a Halo figure from Jazwares and a Predator figure from Lanyard. And finally next to another Jazwares Brawlers figure and a McFarlane Fortnite action figure. So overall, I think Kit had the potential for being an amazing figure. I think there's a few things, for me at least on my figure, that kind of just missed that mark a little bit. He still looks really awesome. He looks really cool. When you get him posed and in a position, he's going to make a great shelf display. Well, thank you for stopping by and watching. If you missed my video on the Brawlers figure Meowscles, click on the video in the lower left corner of the screen, and don't forget to leave a comment about what you think of the new line of Brawlers action figures, and if you think Kit is a hit or a miss. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.